one was a little bit pitiful. Gonna be quick about this one because it is humid as fucking Crown Heights today. I mean, really bad. So I had to turn off all the fans, track them down around the house. Like, it's crazy. However, I have been waiting on this one for so long that I just need to get it out of the way. What we're talking about here is Nerve Baddington, their releases, 2 releases, Micro and Macro. And these completely blew me away. I'll show you the reason why really quickly. I was not familiar with Nervous Baddington at all. And I don't even know how I discovered them. I was probably searching for, best left field hip-hop releases, whatever. I stumbled across the mention of the album, went to Bandcamp, looked it up, and immediately, tore the pocket on my pants, pulling my wallet out to order this, because here's what you get. This box, right? Which, that is a beautiful printed graphic. And this day of COVID and supply chain stuff, getting that out is amazing. Then, within it are 2 cassettes. You have Macro, and you have Micro. And, nice printed J cards, yada, yada, yada. That type of thing. And then you get... I have all these out because Grindle's not going to help me in this. Macro. And Micro. And everything is so careful. Everything in this product and release, so carefully thought out. It absolutely bowled me over and wowed me with the attention to detail on it. I showed this to my neighbor Rashad when he came over. We were having drinks. He absolutely lost his mind because he's not that familiar that, cassettes had made a resurgence, and he lost it. He thought it was the most beautiful thing ever. Which, I totally agree with him. Actually, I put this up there with RBMK's tape that I talked about, and what a huge fan I was of that. I'll link that at the end when they do the stupid little end title thing, so you can click on that. But none of this would matter without the music, and the music it blew me away. Let me be very honest with you. When I first heard Micro and Macro, I thought of when I first heard LP's productions, the first Can Ox album, it's that singular moment when you go, what is this? It's just that type of thing. And the more I read about it, the more amazing this project became, because it's just an interlocking puzzle of sheer genuine creativity that just makes me so happy. So what happens is, the name itself within this group, because you have Inkline, who is the MC, Kilgore Doubt, bass player, 2 years ago, according to what I've read, decides he's going to get deep into producing. And I don't know what he was smoking during those 2 years, but I want pounds of that stuff, because the production on this is inventive. It is enthralling, and yet at the same time, it's all in service to the song. It never overpowers Inkline's vocals. And then the other person involved with them, I guess, is called Cam the Invisible Man, their drummer. He's also on these tracks, and you'll see him in there. Is production. And the other thing that makes me extremely excited about this is the amount of collaboration that they are showing. There's so many collaborators on this, which in lesser hands could overshadow the album. But I feel as if they know these people that they're collaborating with. They know how to show them in the most positive light available. And all of their collaborators absolutely shine on these tracks. They are just amazing. Now, the concept of these 2 albums, and some of this could be hearsay because it's just what you're reading on the internet. You know what I mean? But anyways, Inkline was reading about a movie that could be viewed the same way forward as backwards. He then flashed to the satanic backwards masking crap that was going on in the 80s. Yeah, I know about that. And obviously, I'm gray, I'm old. I know that stuff. He got really excited about doing an album based off from this. They worked on Micro. Everything was going so good. They're sending tracks back and forth. They're collaborating because I believe at the time Incline was living in Denver. Kilgore Doubt was still in Birmingham, Alabama. A lot of their collaborators were there, but some of their collaborators are from all over. So during this time of COVID and lockdown, and I am sick to death of hearing people talk about their COVID album, this is a COVID album that shows collaboration going on a grand scale. Now, at the same time, I'm reading Mold's book, Against Creativity, where he's talking about how, I hate using the word because it's so oversaturated, but underneath neoliberalism, everyone is so atomized and they have turned creativity against us and turned it into an individual pursuit. And as Mold writes in the book, creativity goes hand in hand with austerity nowadays. If they slash the budget for your library, everyone needs to get creative and come up with new solutions. And if you look at job listings nowadays, creativity is always on there, which just means they're gonna bust your ass and they don't expect to give much money to you because you should be creative. And instead, here we have people collaborating together, creating a genuine work of art that is absolutely amazing. Now, micro represents macro, and they kind of go back and forth, and it's not an Ouroboros type of arrangement. It's more complex. I would think of it as the yin and yang symbol, because the albums are almost twisted back upon each other and they contain elements of each one, which leads to this fascinating puzzle structure that's within this album. Because I like listening to tapes on my headphones, To me, the Walkman was one of the most liberating things when I was growing up. I have fond memories of my first Walkmans. I love cassette tapes, especially nowadays when records are so expensive. Yes, I'm really glad that your 8-year-old can get a brown pressing of the Ween album. I'm sure they're rocked by it. But I'd like to see vinyl return to small independent bands. Probably not going to happen, so therefore we have cassettes. And they're killing it with this stuff. This is a perfect example of it. But this album's so well produced. Even though I'm listening to this album multiple times since I bought it the past couple of months, my set of, Rocket KRKs, you've seen the yellow cones. Everybody's got them. But you get great sound out of those. But even with that, I knew that there was more in this album. So I borrowed, for Christmas a while ago, I bought my wife a set of Grado headphones, and not the super expensive ones. Trust me, look at me. I can't afford that, but they're great headphones. So yesterday, I went and borrowed her headphones. I was like, I need to do a deep dive listening to this. Little Ghost Train Haze, threw on micro, listened to it all, and, downloaded it off the Bandcamp in FLAC. Then immediately followed it up with macro. And when you do that with these two albums, on good headphones, this album is so full of headphone treats. I am still humbled and blown away the fact that Kilgore Doubt, he's only got 2 years of producing. I mean, he makes me want to burn my gear. Like, seriously, he's going to be all over the place. This stuff is so absolutely amazing sonically. It's so rich. And when you're listening to it on headphones, there's these little tiny touches that just add to it. Like, not doubling the vocals in place, but kind of pitch shifting down below just a touch and adding it in. And certain things like bass lines, like whoever came up with the bass lines on this, they ride that line. Like, even though they get very experimental, they never lose, like, the head bobbing. Yeah, you can tell. A little lifted. They never lose that head bobbing quality. Like, the bass lines are just pure funk. It's so good. But you'll see there's like one part with a descending bass line, and I almost swear to God, is that bass shifts down a little bit, it goes a little to the left. Maybe on something, but I think, this is one of those things that those little production tricks help with the repeatability of the re-listens of it. And also, just as an example, when I'm listening to it, I kept on doing this. I have to show Kathleen. I have to have Kathleen listen to this track. I have to have and then the very next track, I'd be like, oh no, this is the one I'm going to show her. No, this is the one, So just as a clue as to how this is put together. On micro, track 10 called Hypersignal. Amazing track. But then when you go to Macro, I'm trying to get these straight here, it's called Gibraltar Stones. And that's track 2. So that's that kind of yin and yang twisting. They're not mirroring each other. It's kind of flipped and they reflect backwards onto each other. Yet at the same time, samples are being used, little sonic textures that will correspond across songs in really amazing ways. Like, at one point, I'm pretty sure it's Alan Moore that they have talking about language and magic and the creator's role within this. And then it's more of that interview being sampled on its complementary track across there. And I know I'm rambling here, but this is like that. I think it was the Dridge video where I'm just so impressed by it. I was intimidated to do the review because I love this album so much. And the great thing is you can listen to them separately and they're just both amazing to listen to. But when you listen to them together, it's like this deeply immersive experience. And the way that everything has been changed and with the guest MCs, it puts a different emphasis on each song. None of this would work if Incline couldn't write a hook that will just suck you in immediately. That's why I say every song on here, the hooks are just amazing. So when you hit the other album, you hear that hook, you're like, oh, I kind of know that. Boom, amazing. Honestly, I'm pretty much at a loss for words. I think this is one of the most amazing projects I've heard in a while. This is definitely strong contender for album of the year, and I think everybody just go check it out. I'll link to the Bandcamp pages. I'll also link to a couple of articles down below, which will give you more depth as to what was going on than my rambling I'm going to be able to do here. But yeah, just go ahead and listen to it because there's songs on here like Holy Ghoster. One of the other producers who works on a couple of tracks, The Phasing Octopus, love that name. I mean, you have Kilgore Dow and The Phasing Octopus. It's genius. It's just so good. It's just so good. It's utterly amazing. I love this so much. Go listen to Ernie Ball. Like, oh my god, I was laughing so hard listening to that. There's so many like in-jokes in this thing that it's amazing. And yeah, I'm rambling. I don't want to take up your time. Just go to Bandcamp, check it out. I'm not sure whether, you can still get it as this, limited edition box set, but because Bandcamp, just says you own this. But it does say send it as a gift or buy again. So they may be available. But yeah, go check it out. Highly, highly, highly recommended. It's going to be a tough year for figuring out what my favorite album of the year is. And, such hardships we face nowadays. Anyways, I have to turn all the fans back on and get it to cool down a little bit because it's just nuts here. The humidity is driving everything crazy. But the thing that is helping me through it, I'm still rocking this album. Even though I listened to a deep dive yesterday on it, playing it again. It's just that good. God damn it. I got done listening to the whole thing yesterday. I was just like, me up to go down. This is amazing. Yeah, so obviously I loved it. Obviously I'm a bear of limited intelligence. So go to Bandcamp, check it out for yourself. Anyways, love you guys. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Totally forgot to add this. The other great thing about these two albums, the collaborators that they use, I'm not that familiar with the Birmingham scene, but oh my god, this is like the Rosetta Stone for just finding other people. You know when you read a great book and you're writing down notes of everything in the appendix and the references because those are books you're going to track down and follow? This is what happens when you're listening to this because so many of these guest MCs are freaking incredible. And I felt bad that I didn't have that, so I tossed it in at the end, and yeah, it's obvious I don't give a shit about production value. So yeah, I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.